Well, episode 9 was released, so let's talk about that, shall we? Yeah, no. I'm a couple days late, but better than never, I suppose. So now let's get to it on what happened this episode. So this episode starts off with Armin having conversation with somebody in a dungeon about certain events that happened 3 years ago on Paradise Island. And so it goes back 3 years back where a Marlian battleship was sent to Paradise Island, and the ship's captain deployed a team of scouts to search Paradise Island, and his order was to find out what led to the armored titan defeat. Then out of the water below, the battleship rose up because Eren in his titan form carried the battleship on his back and walked towards dry land where he dropped the battleship. As the ship drops, we get to see our lovely Hanji giving a warm welcome to the Marlin soldiers as she offers them to step this way for some tea. On top of that warm welcoming, she shows the soldiers their captive comrade Niccolo as hostage, but to Hanji, she just hugs him as Levi is there behind them, wondering why he's even here, having to put up with Hanji's little show. As Niccolo asks his captain to shoot them down, Hanji frankly tried to play it down by calming Niccolo, while the captain aimed his rifle towards them and told them to go drink pig piss. Hanji reminds the soldiers of their titan friend Eren, but that doesn't budge the captain one bit from shooting his gun until a rogue soldier, Yelena, shot her own captain and her accomplices took control of the ship. As Yelena accepts Hanji's offer to drink tea and turns back to Eren as she said, "I've longed to meet you, Eren." After that whole commotion, the scouts talk about what could Yelena's goal be if she's to be trusted, though Armin sees this meeting as unbelievably lucky as they could give them valuable information of the outside world, and Eren agrees it is lucky as they were able to stop them, although if Marty came in with a bigger force, Paradise Island would have been screwed. From that encounter and meeting up in the tents, Hanji was amazed by a pistol that holds multiple bullets in one clip, totally unaware that if she would have pulled the trigger accidentally, she would have dropped dead right there. But hey, she ain't stupid, she's Hanji. Yelena talked to them about that Marley has a large man force as each division has 20,000 soldiers, as the total amount from each division put together puts that number to 1,000,000 soldiers, along with naval and aerial power. Hanji was shocked of the term aerial, and Levi pokes his leg at Hanji with a serious look, expressing to her not to show any fear or they'll be seen as weak, and Hanji gets his message. That's where Onion Capon briefly explains what aerial is by saying flying vehicles as an example, and of course Hanji couldn't keep herself from freaking out at the attack from the sky part. Amazed by this, Hanji asks how come Marley has not attacked Paradise Island when they have this much military power on them, and Yelena says there's two reasons why. The first reason is the pure titans will hinder their assault even with Marley's latest weapons. Marley has been sending titans to confine the Eldians within the walls, which in turn acts like a barrier against land invasions. And the second reason is Marley has been war active with multiple nations because Paradise Island defeated the warrior unit, which resulted in Marley losing the colossal female titans, which resulted to Marley's enemies declaring war on them. With this information, Hanji speculates that Yelena and her crew are special agents from conquer Marley nations, but Yelena quickly clears the air that they're not special agents but taken by Marley to become soldiers by their own will. As their hope was fading away at getting payback against the army, that all changed when Yelena met the Beast Titan, who was deemed to be a devil by many, but in Yelena's eyes, he is a god, a symbol that gave hope to the powerless. And this epic shot of Yelena's expression just seals her admiration towards Zeke. In addition, she reveals that she and the soldiers were given a command from Zeke to shoot their superiors. After that encounter, we cut to the scene of the scouts in the meeting within the walls of their superiors, providing the board with Zeke's requests. The officials from the meeting called this matter absurd to even comply with Zeke, as he's done many terrible things in the past on Paradise Island. Then the commander-in-chief Zachary said Zeke's goal is to retake the founding titan and wants to do it diplomatically. Also, you finally see Queen Astoria, who's sitting right next to Zachary in the meeting, finally making an appearance in season 4. Another returning character we see is Commander Pixies, who said in the meeting we should listen to what Zeke has to offer. And so Hanji said Zeke has a plan to resolve the Elden issue, which requires the founding titan, aka Eren, and a titan with royal blood being Zeke himself to save the world, but Zeke hasn't mentioned his whole plan entirely, only when his conditions are met. That's when Eren remembers something shocking when he used Divine Titan power on Dina Fritz, a titan with royal blood, and Eren says the one single hope for Eldians is to awaken the colossal titan sleeping in the walls, which is called the Rumbling. Levi cuts in and asks Eren why he kept quiet about the information, and Eren said it was for Historia's safety as he couldn't let her turn into a titan when things could go wrong. Hanji speculates if what Eren said was true, Zeke's plan holds up, and the other authority officials brought the captive soldiers into attention that they shouldn't be on the island and be put to death. Hanji disagrees with the comments, stating they need them to protect the island from Marley scout ships with their wireless radios, which are radars in this context. Just then, we see scout ships are seen near the bay of Paradise Island, and Yelena staged a fake SOS call to trick them, and when the rescuers found the battleship, Armin transformed into a Colossal Titan, which caused a huge explosion in the water, which made the soldiers jump ship, and once one of the soldiers got to shore, Levi pulled out a gun to give his own version of warm welcoming to the now captured soldiers. Then once it shows Armin in his Colossal Titan, it cuts to the present time where Armin states that those times were fun. He mentions that even though aliens are hated in the world, he knows that not everyone across the sea were enemies, and also acknowledges that the world across the sea is full of unknowns and complex. That's when it transitions to Sasha asking Onen Capon why is his skin dark, and he gives Sasha a brilliant answer. He said our creator thought it was more interesting with a mix of people. Used subjects of Ymir are the same. We existed because we were wanted. And that's when Armin from the past asked Onen Capon who created us, and he responded that the one who gave the founder Ymir power, God. After that, we get to see a scene where the scouts are introduced to seafood made by Niccolo, a captive Marlian who isn't fond of being in Paradise Island, becomes shocked with Sasha's overwhelming reaction of eating seafood for the first time, as she calls him a genius. After that, the sun sets as we see Eren, Mikasa, and Armin in the shooting range. Armin chat with Mikasa about the improving relations between Marlians and aliens in the island. Hearing that, Eren asks if he's seen Berholt's memories, and Armin said yes, but nothing that could help him. As it transitions to Eren, who states that Zeke has 3 years left of his life, Armin asks Eren if he's really going forward with Yelena's plan, as he explains if the rumbling is the only option to protect aliens. Going through that plan, we'll have ourselves become the devils that terrorize the world, showing Armin's standpoint that he doesn't want to go through that route, and hopes maybe they could fix Marley and the world's misconception of them peacefully. Eren then cuts him off with an aggressive tone and annoyed facial expression at Armin, as Eren states that the world views us as monsters who can turn into titans. Mikasa says there are Marlians who like aliens, but Eren counters that statement with how many, since most of the Marlians are in prison cells on Paradise Island, though Mikasa and Armin thinks it could be resolved given time, and Eren agrees, but to buy us time, they need to keep Marley at bay, as Eren fires his rifle, where it cuts to Sasha getting shot in episode 8. Afterwards, it cuts to President Armin, who's wondering if the scouts made the right choice and speculating if there would have been another way without any sort of violence, as well as having a thought that he understood Eren, as well as thinking if he actually knows Eren anymore, as he thought he knew Eren more than Mikasa, but he knows that it's hopeless since he doesn't even know who Eren is anymore. After that scene, Niccolo is getting beat up by Eldian, who was angry at Marlians, as the gravestones present the people who died because of the work of Marlians. Then Jean and Connie stop the guy and ask Niccolo if he's okay. As Niccolo looked up, he asks if Sasha really died. Niccolo was then told what happened, as he called it to be too ridiculous to be true, being shot by a child, as Mikasa explains that she was no ordinary child, but trained to be a warrior candidate. Connie put his hand on Niccolo's shoulder as he thanked him for letting Sasha eat tasty food, and Niccolo asked Connie who Sasha was to him, and he said she was a twin. It felt like he lost half of himself. Soon after, Sasha's parents and a little blonde girl named Kaya, who Sasha saved from a Titan during the Walrose invasion, arrived to see Sasha. Niccolo spoke up and told Sasha's father how Sasha loved his food more than anyone else, so he invited them if they would like to eat his food, and Sasha's father asked if it's on the house, and Niccolo said yes, as they both shook hands. After that scene, we get to see both Zeke and Levi are in a carriage. They both have a little chat, and Zeke asks when will he get to meet Eren, as Levi replies not to be hasty, as they got Zeke the finest hotel to relax in. Furthermore, it switches to Yelena giving Commander Pixie's all the Titan serum they stole from Marley, though she states it would be hard to duplicate them. Despite that, Pixie said he couldn't thank them enough, even though he has now double-crossed the captives, as he replies, "We're truly no better than devils," as Yelena states that we've done nothing wrong but show we're friends to the aliens, on top of that saying those guns pointing them were meant for aliens' freedom. Pixie tells Yelena and her captives to overlook their cautiousness for now, as they're trying to keep Zeke on a tight leash, with Yelena Yelena being calm and collective of her situation, saying it's fine, and they shall dine soon at the same table again. After backstabbing Yelena, we see Levi has actually led Zeke to the forest of giant trees. Zeke is lost for words for getting tricked by Levi, thinking he was actually going to a fine hotel. After that whole joke, we get to see where Falco and Gabby have been doing this whole time, and we see that both of them are locked in prison in the same prison cell. And we see that Gabby still hasn't forgotten Aaron as she bites her thumb and says Aaron Yeager's name in a serious tone. After that, we then again transition to President Armin, who's once again still in the dungeon with his train of thoughts. He talked about how if Aaron would have gone with his plan, being alone or with his friends, the worst would have happened anyways in Marley, as they killed a lot of innocent people. And Armin knows if he hadn't destroyed the port and flee, Marley would have retaliated and attacked Paradise Island, where Armin continues on that they pretty much thrown away any acts and plans for peace out of the window. Then we finally get to see who Armin was speaking with this whole time towards the end of the episode, and it turns out to be Annie, who's still in her crystallized hardened shell, not saying a word or replying back to Armin as he pleads Annie to say something. Then once Armin completed his story, we transition to Mikasa, who's still in the graveyard coping with Sasha's death while saying the words fight or die, win and live, whereas the final scene transitions to Aaron Yeager soaking his hair wet and talks to his own reflection, saying the only way to win is to fight, 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 as the episode ends there. OMG, a lot of stuff happened in this episode. It really was filled to the brim with content. With this episode having President Armin talking to Annie all the things that has happened from the past and the present and what's going to happen in the future possibly, surrounded with Zeke and Aaron's plan. And also we get to see old familiar faces from the past and also recurring characters as well as new characters such as Yelena and Ona Campon and their ambitions and plans for Paradise Island. With that being said, this video is long overdue, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to this channel for more Attack on Titan content in the future, and see y'all next time in my next video. Peace.